promotion has turned things around just a bit.
Pushed me down the stairs.
Stay away from me!
You bet I will, animal, psycho,
Don't come near me!
wife, pusher.
Don't come near me or follow me! Don't come near me or follow me or talk to me!
I don't intend to. I just have to make a telephone call. 911, right? You're in the house now, pal.
Madeline, look at yourself!
Huh?
Look at yourself!
Ernest? My ass. I can see my ass.
There is something really wrong with your neck, too.
I just want you to know one thing, Hal. You brought this on yourself.
Madeline!
And still later, Streep turns the tables on her longtime rival Hawn, but finds out that getting rid of her permanently won't be as easy as she thinks.
Are you just gonna sit there?
What?
I'm not gonna be your accomplice all by myself, Madeline. Here, stretch this out.
I'm happy to help.
Get the end.
Very happy to help.
Put the body right here.
Boy, today really shaped up in a hurry. You know, did you ever notice how some days can start out so... And then, can you help me with this? I can't do it myself. And then suddenly something wonderful happens, and your whole, I don't know, your whole outlook just suddenly changes.
That was totally uncalled for. Look at me, Ernest. Just look at me. I'm soaking wet.
And there seems to be something wrong with your, blouse.
Absolutely amazing special effects. In fact, when it comes to best makeup at Oscar time, this movie is a sure winner, but I hated it anyway. I hated it because its attitude towards its characters is so mean and so sadistic. I got no pleasure at all in seeing these wonderful actresses dismembered, having holes put in their bodies, their limbs twisted around, their heads knocked off their shoulders, and it's just endless. It gets to be a chore to watch.
Well, beware of movies where people tell you how great the special effects are and nothing else. This is a movie which goes overboard pretty quickly. There are some good things about it. Meryl Streep is terrific. She has a great sense of comedic timing. We saw her there saying, now a warning, because she's in tune with what the audience is thinking. And Isabella Rossellini, I always like, even though her role is silly and contrived, but Robert Zemeckis, who directed the Back to the Future movies, does know when enough is enough here. He makes his point early, and the screenplay quickly runs out of steam.
Well, you talk about the screenplay. I had the same kind of problem with this that I had with Zemeckis' earlier monster hit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I didn't care for at all.
Neither did I.
It was technically brilliant, that film. I mean, amazing the way they were able to put the cartoon characters together with the live action, just as this movie is technically brilliant. But that film and this film, no story. And to follow something for 2 hours when there's nothing going on in terms of a story that you can follow or care about is very unpleasant.
He does know how to get it right. He made an underrated comedy called Used Cars, which I like. But here, I think Bruce Willis, I don't really get him in non-action roles. He looks too much like Jack Nicholson in some parts, leading you to believe that the studio may have wanted Nicholson and couldn't get him. I don't know. That was a distraction. I think he's lost between the Oscar winners.
You know, I didn't have any problem with Bruce Willis or with any of the acting. It was all very good. It's just they had nothing to do except to set up the effects. And part of what I disliked about the film so much was, in addition to having a mean attitude toward all the characters, there was a hatred of women that just sort of seeps out from it like acid. I mean, it makes fun of women's obsession with appearances.
And petty jealousy.
Yeah, everyone is jealous.
El Salvador's in Spain and wants only to hang out at the mall with her Valley Girl friends. But one fateful day in the school gym, Donald Sutherland, a mysterious visitor from another age, tells her her real calling in life.
You must come with me now to the graveyard while there's still time.
Time to do what?
Time to stop the killing, to stop the vampires.
All right, let me get this straight, okay? You want me to go to the graveyard with you because I'm the chosen one and there are vampires?
Yes.
Does Elvis talk to you?
And after reluctantly accepting his offer, he tells her specifically what his mission is.
I train girls to be slayers.
Merrick, I'm not gonna croak that easily. I have something that the other girls didn't have.
And what might that be, pray?
My keen fashion sense.
Oh, vampires of the world, beware.
You threw a knife at my head.
And you caught it.
No, Buffy, you're not like other girls.
I'll say that was teen heartthrob Luke Perry making the understatement of the year.
Hi.
Ah.
Yes, I am. I didn't even break a nail.
But lest you think this movie is all kicks and chops, there are some tender moments, as when Perry tries to get up close and personal with this Catwoman without claws.
Who are you? I'm sorry, but you seem like such a flake. And I mean that in a good way, really. It's just, you know, hey, I can keep talking until you strike me dead or not. I prefer not.
Things are kind of confusing.
I'll buy that.
Listen, I'm gonna go to bed. If you want, to stay, you can stay in the guest room.
No, I'll stay right here. Make sure the sun comes up and everything.
Well, I kept wishing the sun would come up and the movie would end already. I mean, good grief, you don't expect a movie called Buffy the Vampire Slayer to be Room with a View. However, it didn't have to be this bad. It could have at least been sprightly, fast-moving. Everything about the film is incoherent, it's sloppy, it's unwatchable, and it's nasty. I mean, because the vampires aren't scary at all. When you see her mutilating them so consistently, it's just mean.
Also, it's played by, one of the vampires played by Paul Rubens without his Pee Wee Herman makeup. We're supposed to fear this guy. You know, I read recently that Donald Sutherland had some friends over for dinner, and they asked him, what movie are you doing now? And he said, Buffy the Vampire. He kind of slurred the title, and they said, come again? And he had to say, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What is a fine actor like that doing, wasting his talents in this movie, which is just kicks? And those clips that we showed, by the way, are not in the way they appear in the movie. They're a montage, because there's not to show on
No,
the
they
air.
couldn't even get 30 seconds that they could show people that would be mildly entertaining. This movie is a disaster from beginning to end. It does try to do one thing that I give it credit for, which is it tries to evoke the spirit of some classic bad movies. There are specific references to Plan 9 from Outer Space, The Creeping Terror, and of course the incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed up zombies, which I think is a major stylistic influence on this film.
But those movies were at least quirky and campy and intentionally bad. This movie tries to be slick and big budget, and it tries to be something that is in some way scary, and it's not. It's just unintentionally boring. You can be bad if you want. You can be quirky if you want, but don't be boring.
Well,
and this movie should have seatbelts in the theaters.
It's intentionally boring. I mean, come on. Christy Swanson, in the scene we showed, Luke Perry asked her, who are you? My last question is, who is Christy Swanson? She seems like she's had charisma bypass surgery. I didn't mind her. Why she even has the title role.
I didn't mind her. I just wish Luke Perry from Beverly Hills 90210 on TV had not seen James Dean movies. He's one of those actors who, you know, kicks the dirt on the floor and kind of turns his shoulder against. So many actors have had their careers stymied by that influence. Forget about James Dean and be yourself.
And of course, compared to this movie, Beverly Hills 90210 looks like Giant. Well, moving on to our Family Fine section of the show, there are no new movies that are opening in theaters this week that are designed to appeal to family audiences, though Honey, I Blew Up the Kid is still doing great business, and it still offers great fun for kids and for their parents. But there is a new video release of a classic film from Disney Studios that's simply too good to pass up, and that one is The